Go.
Okay, welcome to our weekly Pnimis Hadar podcast, Parshas Behaloscha. Tavshin Pei Aleph, Tei Shas Shnas.
Fastest growing podcast
Huh?
in the nation.
Fast what?
The fastest growing podcast in the nation.
Yeah. Okay. Parshas Behaloscha. Parshas Behaloscha has in it a lot of very interesting mitzvahs. Starts off with the menorah, and it works its way over to taking the Levium, Tachas Kol Bachar. Then it ends up having a parsha of Pesach Sheni, and you have the parsha of Chatzaitis, and Mahim Tzaharain, Einanim, Kiris Hatava,
Nuns.
and Nuns. Bema says that Parshas Behaloscha has in it three svarim of Torah. I think Gemara tells us there's seven svarim because from Behaloscha till Vayim Mitzayah is one sefer, from Vayim Mitzayah another sefer, and after Vayim Mitzayah until the end of Vayim Mitzayah, the third sefer. A lot going on this week. Let's see what points we could hit, Bez Hashem Yisbarach, to raise our level of awareness of who we are and where we're headed. Pasuk tells us Behaloscha Haneiros Amol Pneim Neri Yu Shivas Haneiros. The lashon of Behaloscha es Haneiros is an interesting lashon. Behaloscha es Haneiros, when you make the neiros go up. Right, the lashon Behaloscha is what's the lashon Behaloscha, right? If the mitzvah to lahadik Haneiros, it should have said Keshe'ata Madlik, Keshehidlakta, Keshata Madlik. Right? What's the lashon is Behaloscha es Haneiros? So Rashi says lashon Behaloscha is al shem shehalav oile. Right? Kasav bahad lekasav lashon aliyah shetzarach lahadik ashetei hashal heves oile mei eleha. Okay, the lashon of Behaloscha is lighting the neiros, but it's described as shetei hashal heves oile mei eleha. The Rishonim are medayik from this lashon Behaloscha that is not a mitzvah lahadik as a menorah. The Gemara knew what we had last week's Daf Yomi had a lav mitzvah, and the diik partly is from Behaloscha as a neiros. Doesn't say light the neiros. Behaloscha as a neiros. Right? When the neiros go up, when you make the neiros go up, are you making something happen on its own? Like Rashi says, Ashtei shall have oile me'eleha. And therefore, the Ritva says as Aloshin, I believe it's Ritva, that the reason why Hadlok is Lav Avodah is because the Shalhav is Zoyle Me'eleha. It's happening on its own. The mitzvah is to get something to happen on its own. That's the Lashon of the Ritva. The mitzvah of the menorah is all the hechsher up to that point, which is called Hatava. Hatava Saner is setting up the wicks, putting in the oil, taking out the old wicks, and removing the whatever ashes there. But the actual Hadlok itself is Lav mitzvah. Okay, that's a dig from the Behaloscha Saner. So we'll get back to this. And the pasuk says, "Vayas Kain Aaron," right? Aaron did azeh. Vayas Kain Aaron. El Mulpnei Amenor Hela Ner say he taka did this ma'isa of being mal the neiros. Kasher tiv Hashem es Moshe. Zakt Rashi, what's the lashon Vayas Kain Aaron? Just say Vayas Aaron, right? Kasher tiv. What's Vayas Kain? Kain is coming. He did azeh, and he didn't do something different, right? What could he have? What would he have possibly done different? So Rashi Taka didn't do anything different. But Yaskin Aaron Lahagishvach Shal Aaron Shalei Shina. He didn't do anything different, right? Seems to be some sort of havamina that he would do something different, right? And the Chiddush is he didn't do different than he was mitzvah. Okay, Sarachian, what was the havamina that Aaron would have done different that the Chiddush the Torah tells us that Yaskin Taka did azay and he did not change. There is a famous Dvar Torah from none other, the Rebbe Rab Heschel, Avram Mishu Heschel of Krakow. He has a sefer, they're malakit from him, called Chanukas HaTorah, of sharp shtiklach. The Rebbe Rab Heschel lived in the early to mid 1600s. He wasn't a Hasidic Rebbe, he's called the Rebbe Rab Heschel because he was a Gadol Adar. He was the Rebbe of all the Gedolim of the next generation. So he was referred to as the Rebbe Rab Heschel. of Krakow. He says the following Dvar Torah, which we will expand upon. What's Vayas Ken Aaron by Hadlakas Neiris HaMenorah? Dr. Rabbi Peschel, that in Bria Sa'olam, in Ma'aseh Bereishis, every day of Ma'aseh Bereishis, after HaKadosh Baruch Hu created what was created on that day, the pasuk says, Vayichein. Hashem said, V'yem Elikim should be Azay Nazay, and it happened Azay Nazay, and then it says Vayichein, and so it was. There's one day of Ma'aseh Bereishis it doesn't say Vayichein, and that is on the first day of Ma'aseh Bereishis. First day of Ma'aseh Bereishis is Vayom Elikim Yar, Vayiyar. However, Vayavd Elikim Esa'ar, Hashem was mavd of the Ar. Zak Rashi, the Ar, Vayom Elikim Yar is the Ar Agonis, a special holy light. We'll call the Ar Agonis is the Ar of Hashem, the Ar HaChesed of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And this Ar was sent down in the Bria, that a person, if this Ar would be here, you would just experience the tremendous Chesed of HaKadosh Baruch Hu wherever you looked. Hashem saw that this Ar was going to be, the Rishonim were going to take advantage of this Ar, because what is this Ar? This Ar is Ar Chesed. What do Rishonim do? They see Chesed, they see, okay, we can get away with things. That's what Chesed is. Chesed allows people to get away with things. So he saw that the Rishonim are going to be mishtamish with this Ar, and they're just going to be Mach of the Welt, right? Because Midas HaChesed is totally patient and totally overlooks anything that a Rasha does. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you know what, this R is not good for the Rishonim. We're going to put it aside. And Hivdila Tzadikim Lasalavai. It was guiding Tzadikim Lasalavai. Okay, he hit it for the Tzadikim Lasalavai.
Is that the first mice of din in the world?
We could there's what to talk about, because we know B'tchil al Machshavta HaKadosh Baruch Hu Livers Ha'olam Min Sadin. Right, and here it sounds like B'tchil al Machshavta that he did a Ma'aseh Rachamim, and then he was mitzamtzim it. So that's a decent conversation. I was actually having a little bit of thoughts about that earlier today. Baruch Kivanta. But that's the second compliment you've gotten this decade. I'm going to go to your head. Okay, so on the first day of Ma'aseh Bereishis, Hashem said Yehi Or, but the pasuk can't say Vayichein because it wasn't Chein, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu backtracked Kaviyachol and he was going as Or l'tzadikim l'asad. Okay, comes along the Rabbi Peschel. Where is this Geniza Sa'ar l'tzadikim l'asad? Where does it come out? Who the tzadikim are mishtamish? People think it means l'asad means, and then when Mashiach comes to Eilam Haba, no. He's gone to the tzaddikim l'asad, the avoid of tzaddikim today. Zayis Chanukah. The avoid of tzaddikim every day. You look at the Torah, you learn Torah, and Torah is ganas, the Ar HaGanas, right? And Memela tzaddikim can tap into that Ar in the avoid of Hashem. Aaron HaKohen's avoida is an avoida of menorah, of being madlik to Ar. What is the Ar that he's being maleh? He's being maleh, the R on top of the menorah is R HaTorah, right? And it is the R HaGanas itself. And on top of the menorah is his galus of R HaGanas. Remember, Dr. Chanukah HaTorah, Dr. Rabbi Peschel, that Vayas Kain Aaron is a taich. Aaron took the Vayi Chain of Yermisha Ma'aseh Bereishis, which was left out, and he was able to bring out that Cain now in Halakas Neres. The Vayi Chain is now Vayas Cain, the Cain of the Vayi Chain. Okay, as I said, the Rebbe Peschel. So I was thinking to expand upon this part based on what we were talking about from the original Diak Behaloscha Haneris, that the mitzvah of Hadlakas HaMenorah is not an avodah. Why is Hadlaka not an avodah? Well, you understand now that avodah is normally making some sort of change, right? Avodah is making some sort of something new, and in as much as Aaron HaKohen is just being megala something that's there and hidden, right? He's just being megala, so maybe that's why it's not avodah, right? It's not avodah because he's just being megala what's there. right? It's Olam Me'eleh is the pshat. It's here the whole time. He's just being megala something, so he's not actually changing something. He's not affecting something. He's just making some sort of gilui that it's like if I tell you I open up a window shade and I let the light in, right? That's an avodah. No, I didn't make the light. I didn't do anything. Right? I just opened the shade. So everything I'm doing is just a hechsher. The light's there. Right? Aaron HaKohen is killed. He's just opening up the shades that are high in the argonas on top of the menorah, and melis lav avodah. But I was thinking of maybe a little bit more pnimistic hazeh. What is avodah? Avodah is a certain midah called avodah. Whose midah is the midah of avodah? Yitzchak's avodah. Right? Al shleish devar made al Torah, val avodah gemilas chasadim. What is Yitzchak? Yitzchak we know is midas hadin. Right? He's gvura, he's din. Yitzchak is din, right? Now, Yitzchak is din, right? So avodah is din. Why is avodah din? I didn't really think about it that much, but on some level, avodah in the Beis HaMikdash is taking gashmias, right? And it's sort of being mishabedet to Eilam Aruchni. I would say, just maybe one example. Haktar Seimurim, right? It says the Emurim burned the whole night on the Mizbeach. Emurim burned the whole night on the Mizbeach. And what do they do? They go out into the world and it puts down all the Kayachatum in the world. All the Kayachatum gets right. Ashes
the whole Beis is all fire.
Right. Enach Hagufa. Right. That dam is din. Right. Avodas hakabadas is avodas adam. There's nothing more dam, no more din than dam. Right. Dam is red. Din is red. Right. There's nothing more din than shechting a behema. This is din. Right. Why is it din? Because what ultimately it's doing is it's being mitzvah all the kaychas hara of the world. It has this ability to right. As the Zohar says that when they burn all night, all the kaychas have tum in the world. They get subdued by it. Okay, but whatever it is, you can explain it. But the facts are there, right? Avodah Yitzchak is din. If something is going to be qualified as an avodah, it has to have in it some sort of midas hadin, some sort of din in it, some sort of mitzamse. What is halak samanayra? We just said it's gila of our agonis, right? Our agonis is our chesed, right? So if Azoi Vait, the halak samanayra is a total gila of our chesed of Hakadosh Baruch Hu. This is lemala for me. This is din has no shaykh to avodah, right? Avodah is din. This is avodah of kol chesed. So this is a standalone type of idea that Aaron HaKohen does inside the Heichel to Megal or a Chesed, and Chesed is the Ma'ala from Din, and Mela it's not Avodah, it's sort of a Ma'ala and Avodah. Okay, but listen to this beautiful Rebbe. Listen to this beautiful Rebbe. So when I thought of this Rebbe, I almost rolled off my bed.
What time was it?
The Midas Hadin is Shem Elikim. Right? Shall have his oile me eleha. What is me eleha? It's the same ISIS as Elikim, right? It's me eleha. It's Mach 86, but it's the same exact ISIS as Elikim. Instead of Aleph, Lamed, K, Yud, Mem, it's Mem, Aleph, Lamed, Yud, K. Okay? So it is Mabish. So what's the pshat? Ate shall have his oile me eleha is that you light the menorah in order to accomplish that it's oile me'eleh above elikim, above midas hadin. That's what me'eleh described. I mean, the lashon that the Ritva used to give a tam why it's not an avodah is hagufa, because the words me'eleh state that it's chesed lemala from din, right? It goes lemala from din. So I was thinking just nachatrit weiter, a step further, right? Me'eleh is isis velikim. We know in Shem Elikim there are 120 tzirufei Shem Elikim. You could make 120 permutations of Shem Elikim. Why? It's a 5-letter word. So if you want to make all the permutations, each of the so you add up, right? 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 gets you to 120. Right? 1 times 2 is 2, times 3 is 6, times 4 is 24, times 5 is 120. Okay, those are the permutations. And the way it works is every letter gets 24 permutations. You could have a 24 permutations starting with Aleph, 24 permutations starting with Lamed. Okay, the last 48 permutations start with a yud and a mem. Okay? We are holding now with the permutation called Me'eleha. Al pi cheshbon, right? It starts with the mem. And everything else is the same as the Elikim, Aleph, Lamed, K, Yud, but the Yud and the K are switched around. So when you take the first permutation starting with Mem, you're going to keep all the letters the same, Aleph, Lamed, K, Yud, and Mem is going to be the first one. The second permutation is going to switch around the last two letters. So you get to Me'eleh, the second permutation of the Mems. Okay? So let's just take a step back. In Mitzrayim state that Parai was shaylet on Shem Elikim. His shlit on Klal Yisrael was the fact that he had the ability to be shaylet, whatever that means. He was shaylet on Shem Elikim. He wasn't shaylet on the whole Shem Elikim. He was shaylet on the last two letters of Shem Elikim. The 48 permutations of the last two letters, the Yud and the Mem, is 24 and 24 is 48. Paro had some sort of achiza on this, and this was the way he was mishabed Klal Yisrael, that he had he had a koyach, the midas hadin to be shalit in Klal Yisrael. The 48 ways, the 48 tzirufim that he's shalit in is merum is a Paro's mitzvah is called admas b'nei cham. Cham is around 48. It's called b'nei cham because he had a shlit on 48 permutations. Mitzrayim is also meitzar yam, right? The holding on to the meitzar is the difficult straits of Yud and Mem, where they were, right, the Yud and Mem of Elikim, that's Mitzrayim, meitzar yam. Parai had shlita on Mem ches tziruf from Elikim, and going out of Parai shlita, which is what Klal Yisrael does in its Kabbalas HaTorah, right? Is in going out of time Kabbalas HaTorah, is it has to break away from all the shlita of Parai and enter into the world of Kedusha. So I didn't see anyone say this, but it seems to be like a good sushtel that Torah is niklas b'mem ches dvarim. The mem ches dvarim correspond, right, to the mem ches the mem ches achizas that Parai had. You undo each achiza, and every achiza by Tumah has klape it a madreg in kedusha, and as you get the madreg in kedusha, that is your disconnect from the achiza of tumah. Right? That's a reasonable sushtal, right? And that's what Kabbalas HaTorah is, right? Svarim say that the mem tes yom of Sirius are really mem ches dvarim. I'm sure I said it a few times. Mem ches dvarim Torah is nikas mehem. Right, I guess the mem test is kaila everything. I'm not sure. I forgot exactly what he said as far as how you get to mem test. No, but that's what the achon from Mount Torah is. Mem chesvav shatar nikas b'hem. Right. So if you find that was the achiza that Parai had that they had to leave behind, it makes sense that that's what they're moving away from, and there's a correspondence of mem ches to the mem ches. Right. So I was just thinking that if we're going to find that correspondence, what the tziruf of Me'eleha is what number tzir for the last 48? Number 26, because you have 24 of the yuds. And this is the second one of the mems. Right? So I opened up Maseches Avos to see what is the 26th midah shatai niknas by. Huh?
There's different yesod. What was the number?
Different is which how you add them up. You saying?
Yeah, like the Gra leaves out a few of them.
Okay. Yeah. So I thought took me a few minutes to try to figure out which what's what. You're right. Some is if somebody put a. I went with the print when I picked up the print now of one of the offices. The number 26 was Hamakers Mekaimai. Okay, just interesting. Hamakers Mekaimai. Right, how would that sushtel over here, Makras Mekaimai? What was Aaron Akain's? Why did Aaron get the halakas and hamanayra? Right, he felt bad. He didn't want mishtatev and the Chanukas and to see him, but he sat back. Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't give me to be involved in Chanukas and to see him. He was Makras Mekaimai. He didn't make a grace grida. For that he was zeiche, right, to this Aragonas, right, which is the Malaf and Din. Right, and it's the Aragonas that's klap. It's lamala from the din of this tzir of Elikim of Me'eleh. That's what it occurred to me as Hashem Yisbarach. And it could be the Var Muchadashim. I wonder if anyone says it. I didn't see anyone saying it. I actually spent a few minutes today on the Eitzah Chachma, just seeing if anyone made Sushta Memches Dvarim to Memches Seufer Likim. It didn't come up as a hit, but anyway, so that is the Dvarim HaMechudashim B'Yoser that to say about Hadlakas Menorah. I think it's a gewaltige Zach. I wrote up a lot of different stuff about different things, but maybe we're just furious with the story. I haven't said a story in a while, and this story is not really a Hasidic Maisa, but it's a Maisa that happened yesterday, and it's just a Maisa that I don't think anyone here is going to figure out any of the participants of the Maisa, but it's a mice that really needs to go down and that needs to be recorded. I was involved in helping a young couple that was not doing very well in their marriage, and unfortunately the marriage was needs to be dissolved, and everyone needs to move on. But sometimes to move on, it's not so easy to move on. There's things that have to be settled, the monies have to come up with, and sometimes there are a lot of delays in that process. And the young husband, who's, you would imagine, is probably feeling a little bit down and out in the situation that he's in, and maybe miyuyish. So I call once in a while, say hello, give him chizik and let him know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Bez Hashem, you're gonna have a wonderful life, even though right now things look pretty bleak. So I was talking to him last week, and he tells me that what's holding up all the proceedings is that he has to come up with a certain amount of money in order to satisfy, what Bezdin decided he has to give, and he's asking him to give him money. He just doesn't have it now. It's going to take a while, and his wife is insisting before she takes a get, he's going to have to give her all the money, and he doesn't know where to turn to come up with all the money. He has a certain amount of it, but he needs a decent amount more. How much does he need? So we were talking last week. He needs maybe $15,000 to come up with. He needs a little bit more, but he has put aside some money. He needs $15,000. So I told him, he has a job. He doesn't make a lot of money. He works hard. I told him, if it's money that's holding up, you need a fresh start. Call me. I'll try to help you. Right? I'll try to get someone to ask people to lend you money. You'll pay it up over a year. You know what I'm saying? So who doesn't have $1,000 lent for a year to under the right circumstances, right? So he said fine, whatever it was. I forgot about the conversation. Yesterday I get a call from a friend of mine, and he tells me that he just closed a deal, and he wants to take off mice right away, because if you don't take off the mice right away, they say, their story goes like this. It's like when you make the money, when you close the deal, so it's kula revach, right? But by the next day, it's already Karen. It's already the principal. It's so much yours. This is what I need. This is what I need. Oh, you make $1 million. Oh wow, I made $1 million. The next day you say, yeah, of course I have $1 million. Now I need another $1 million, right? So smart people, when they want to give the meiser, they want to give right away. So this person called me and says, I just closed the deal. I want to give you meiser. Can you distribute it for me? So I said, sure. Not that I enjoy distributing meiser, because it's just puts a lot of responsibility on me to try to represent them in the best way possible. But I said, but for you, sure, no problem. He says, fine. I'm gonna quick pay the money. How much am I quick paying you? $10,000. $10,000 is a lot of money. Okay. Try to give it out to good people. Okay. An hour later, I get a call from this guy, and he calls me back. He says, we spoke last week. He says, we came down to a final number. She'll take $9,000. Do you have someone that can lend me the money? I said, I think Hashem likes you a lot. I say, I think I have the right I think I may have someone that will do it. So I called up this person and I said, it's not really our criteria to lend the money, but you'll be getting it back. He said, okay. And I don't normally, give 90% in one direction, but it's all going to come back, B'ez Hashem. He's a trustworthy guy. Is it okay if I lend it to this person? And he says, it's not exactly what I do, lending money to encourage people to get divorced, but I gave it to us. If you think it's a good idea, I'll go with it. So the deal closed, and that was like even before, like without making any effort for what the chesed I wanted to help this person with, right? The money came in, and the money actually it was sort of came out perfect to what this what this person needed. Interesting thing is, the real hashgacha of it is, the real hashgacha of it is when this guy called me, right, last week, I was thinking, I'm going to call this guy, the guy who called me. I'm going to ask him for the gemach. How am I going to sell him the gemach? How am I going to sell him this idea of the gemach, right? My feeling was he could afford it, anyone that has savings and making 0.01% in the bank can afford to, not to make something on the money for a year. But how is it going to sell it to him?